We now continue with Smurf.
Maybe this is a reason they're bringing in Crimp, right? Expand their map pool a little bit and improve and maybe get that chip.
Match is still a few moments out, so let's dive deeper here on Crimp real quick. I know every time we see a new player in a starting lineup, we want to get an initial impression. We want to tell the community our early thoughts. What are we looking for in particular out of his gameplay? Give me 3 bullet points that the community should be looking to grade him on.
He needs to continue to be a bit of a playmaker. That's kind of the player that Vivid was. So obviously we can kind of just say that he has some shoes to fill. But what I also want to see from Crimp, and the biggest struggle that Boston Breach has kind of had with their SMG duo, is their non-traded kill percentages. Both of them were about under 50%, meaning they'd get these in opening kills, but they wouldn't play their life. So that's kind of being what I'm grading on Crimp on right now, is his ability to get some of these kills, but still understand that sometimes the presence is more dangerous than trying to get that two-piece.
Do you think the slays go up or down with Crimp in the lineup over Vivid?
I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, you look at Vivid, the guy's consistently been putting up a ton of damage. It really just depends on the goal of what this move was for. I'm not in the Boston camp, but if I was, I think if I were to make a move and if I was going to bench Vivid, which I wouldn't do, but if I did and I'm bringing in Crimp, I'm hoping that it's sort of like what Toronto did with Hixie. He comes in, plays a little bit more objective role, but still has a lot of talent and can make plays happen. And then in turn with that, Nero then is allowed to sort of be free on the map, right? Because what they had with the last sub duo is 2 very aggressive SMGs who are comfortable making plays and putting up kills, but at times those players can go rogue. You have Big Wake as well, who's a slayer, right? So it's a slay-heavy team of players who sometimes like to play individual. So I'd be looking at Crimp to make it more of a team effort.
It's Bounty Week here at the CDL. All 12 teams will be in action, all 12 with a chance to win $10,000. And our first opportunity is going to come up here for Boston and London in just a moment. While we're waiting on the players, we want to remind you, CDL isn't the only place to compete. If you're a fan of Warzone, you're going to want to check this video out.
And welcome back to Good Morning El Mazra, your go-to for AM Ammo, the #1 show for sunrise shelling. On today's show, your favorite Oktar home renovators teach you how to drywall those bullet holes, and a squirrel who learned to water ski while firing a grenade launcher. First up, Dean Beret with our World Series of Warzone weather report. Hey, Dean.
Thanks, Jim. The World Series of Warzone weather report for 2023 is sure to put the gore in gorgeous. But every cloud has its silver bullet. This year is bigger, badder, madder, more flammable than a bag of frags, more combustible than a basket of bouncing betties. You'll see more competition, more regions, and a whole lot of cash. Cash tornadoes are on their way. These extremely lucrative weather events will culminate with the live, in-person global final. Let's look at the April forecast, where Stage 1 will kick it all off. Stage 1 will deliver thrills, chills, and spills. 3 rounds for both the NA and EU regions. First up, the in-game open. Anyone at home could join the fight. The top 50 trios in both regions will enter the second stage of qualifiers. The top half of our qualifiers will move on to the stage finals, face off against 25 trios of mercenaries. That's 150 players in total, and that is math. For Stage 1, I'm predicting a cyclone of chaos, where our top performers will move on to Stage 2. Got it?
Drew, stay alive, make money, and move on. Seems pretty simple to me.
Yeah, understood. It's very simple, but are you doing okay, man?
Good one, FIFA. Stage 2 starts in June, a month known for rising temperatures due to grenade launchers used to immolate Jeeps. In Stage 2, the top 25 trios from the Open will join the top teams from Stage 1 to battle it out through qualifiers and finals. Top teams from the Stage 2 finals will qualify for the World Series of Warzone Global Final. But what if during Stage 2, you couldn't crack it and got fried? Well, Dean's got good news. Trios that missed the cut in Stage 2 will compete in last chance qualifiers in July. For the first time ever, we're giving regions from all over the world a route to qualify through region-specific qualifiers. The global final is in the fall, and there's a swirling pressure system of prize money out in the distance. It's a full menu, ladies and gentlemen. Carnage asada, baked tank, collateral cabbage, and my favorite, fried green akimbo pistol.
That's a hell of a menu. Sign me up.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
Well, well, well. This is what we've all been waiting for. The explosive conclusion in the world's first live and in-person World Series of Warzone event. 50 trios, 150 people, all converging in person on the main stage to crown the greatest Warzone players on planet Earth. For more, let's send it over to our favorite Carnage correspondent.
Thanks, Dean. I'm being told everybody's favorite Mono massacre is back, with the solo YOLO taking place in person for some extra solo slaying talk. Phew, that's a mouthful. Back to you.
I'm shivering in anticipation, because this is going to be huge and enormous. Sign up for Stage 1 in-game open now on Game Battles or visit WorldSeriesOfWarzone.com. Hope to see you out there cracked, fried, and ready to ride for the biggest Warzone event ever. Ever! See you soon.
Yo, Activision, get me on this show. Warzone is back. The World Series of Warzone is coming back, and this time it's bigger, badder, and madder, all concluding with a live in-person final. That's right, in person for the first time ever. Check out WorldSeriesOfWarzone.com right now, or just scan that QR code for some more information. Nameless, you been grinding your Warzone?
Yes, I'm ready. I can't wait. This is going to be lit, bro.
Allie, I know you've been grinding ranked. How many games did you get in last night?
Too many to count. Too many.
You guys know
how many games are we about to get into for this matchup, though? That's what I'm told to talk about. Boston versus London. The channel points are 80% on Boston Breach, 20% on London Royal Ravens. We're now over 15 million channel points for this matchup. Boston, is that your pick for this series?
Oh, yeah.
Chat's gonna be happy?
I'm going Boston.
Chat's gonna be happy? Chat, you about to be real mad. London's pulling this one out in 5. I have it. It's happening. Sorry, Kremp. We got our casters ready. Let's send it on over to them. We got Lando and Study for this one.
I'll tell you what, Chris, I would love if that happens to be the script. However, lately, Jay, it is not exactly looked like that's a likely turnout. London Royal Ravens off to a very slow start, facing off against the new look Boston Breach. Your thoughts on that new team, Kremp, coming into the lineup for Vivid?
I'm very excited to see Kremp come into the lineup because we all have heard a lot of good things about this young man with that Boston Academy roster, playing alongside Doug Sensor. I don't know what it is. Everyone who teams with Doug somehow, some way enters the league, except for Doug. Truly sucks for him, but Kremp, he's been an outstanding player all throughout challenges, man. Finally, he gets to call up to take place of Vivid. I thought it completely caught me off guard because when you think about Vivid, all throughout this year so far for this Boston Breach team, he's usually been like their leader, the guy that will switch his gun at any given moment just to make sure he's able to hold that W at the end of the map. But taking care of him, swapping him out, bringing him Kremp, obviously the biggest thing that you want to focus on is just simply your slaying. So I think Kremp is going to have that slaying ability, and then you even heard Sif, my guy Allen, talk about his S&D performance. That's where he really does shine, and if he's going to be the in-game leader, that might be what Boston Breach was definitely looking for.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a controversial move. I know Vivid is a favorite by a lot of people out there. I know Nameless has obviously had his for sure opinion about him being an underrated player, but regardless, we'll see what Boston Breach can come forward with. We'll also see on the intern what London can do, because Jay, they're also sporting a rookie themselves, Yuli entering into his 3rd matchup here with the squad. Definitely trying to turn it around, considering that the Ravens, well, they're 0-6 in maps, 0-2 in series, and Jay, not one map yet has been close.
Yeah, we got to do something if you are London, especially if you are Yuli. I know he hasn't had the best performance so far in the league. He played up against LA Thieves. He played up against Optic. Both of those teams are well polished, so it's never going to be an easy matchup, but he's overall in that KD department a 0.7. That's not going to be easy when you're playing against some of the best competition, but if your teammates are able to slay it alongside you, that's when those stat lines can turn drastically, as you see London with basically a perfect P1 to start off this game. 40 uncontested seconds. Boston still getting those bad spawns.
Yeah, we're already looking at the London Royal Ravens. Some question marks, how is Scraps going to play? I mean, if they're going to play anything like this, we very well could be in for the series the Puckett was hinting at on the desk. A 50-0 start here for the Ravens, and we'll see if Breach can start to get on board. Kremp, a 1-4 beginning for him, as really he and the roster have struggled just to even see that objective, but spawns will flip, and now here come Breach.
Yeah, Boston trying to break it from the back end. They do not want this out of the map going in towards that P3, but they cannot give all this time to London as trades go back and forth. You do have one player, Nero's going to get that nice one over towards the next hard point, so he's the only player for Boston. Everybody else from London know that we're not going to get that junk time. We're going to fight off the rotation. You take care of Nero. That's already job done. 6-0 for Scraps. already earns himself that cruise missile. Is a perfect start for London in his hard point.
Jay, I'm thrown off a little bit. I'll be honest. Like, you kind of assume by the way a series is going to start. I assumed it was going to be, Breach looking good off the rip. But London, talk about great positioning through the first two, up 41 points. Now they've got the best rotation right now on the map here toward the statue as Kremp gets cleared out there from Nasty. That lead is only going to expand. Ravens on the verge of already reaching 100 seconds before Breach have really fully eclipsed 25. We go back again. Kremp once more silence. This is a much different Ravens roster already from the get-go, Jay. I know we're only a handful of hard points in, but this team, they are slaying it out.
Oh, they're slaying indefinitely, my friend. They are just dominating the better side of the map, making sure they're maintaining the spawns, making the kills a lot easier. They're just chopping them all down as they push through double doors, give Scaps the 3. I'm out of here. Time to flip those spawns as Boston gonna spawn 2 bottom art. But at least you do have one player in Yuli who's able to get that stage spawn. He's able to flip his way out. Now all his job is just simply stay alive on that side of the map, wait for Racimus to get into the play. But if London coming out to play like this, where the hell has this been all weekend so far? This is great for them.
The last time that they played Fortress Hardpoint, Jay, they walked away with 70 seconds. That was
not good.
Now they've nearly doubled it. We're not even through the first side of rotation.
Oh.
Incredible work across the board. Multiple team streaks. I think we should have some scores, or rather kill streaks coming in not too far from now. But a 100-point advantage in which Ravens are in control once more. Breach, I think it's fair to say, man, they are completely caught off guard for the first time. A moment where they're able to get a few members down on the opposite side, and now they can begin to soak up some of those precious seconds. Still down by 90. We'll see if the young gunning Kremp can eventually get going as he visits the respawn screen. He sits at 4 and 12.
So far, Boston finding a good break, getting a good chunk of time off of this P4 hardpoint. Try to get themselves right back into this game. They're going to be down by 72 points going in towards this Blacksmith Hill. It's now London. Going to be fully set up off the rotation. It's all about starting off these initial gunfights right. Narrow taking down Asim. He now earns himself that 5 spree. 1 off for earning that cruise. A whole lot of pressure from the front end.
Yeah, that'd be huge, right, for Breach to be able to have that streak as well, just to counter what I'm sure is going to be a decent amount of artillery on the other side. There you go, cruise missile confirmed, and Nero not done at 6. Wants to at least make it a 7 spree, and maybe could even hit double digits. Breach beginning to wake up, but more specifically, it is King Nero trying to have his stamp toward the end of the first set of rotations, but streaks are in, and now here comes Manny Marshall flying and piloting that cruise missile. Information earned, but it is an open objective for now. 20 seconds left over at the horse statue. It's a 1v2 for the point. It's Kremp who walks away with it, and Breach, well, they're making that scoreline look a lot better now, Jay.
Yeah, this is how Boston get themselves right back into this game, trying to chain this hill towards that P1. The Scraps is able to take down Kremp off of that chunk time, so no one's going to be able to get this final 10 seconds. It's all about the battle of the spawns. Nasty, he's able to take down Beans, but Kremp and Awakening, they combine for 2. They're maintaining stage side. They're making sure that they're spawning all of London towards double doors. Not trying to fight for either one, getting some of this hill time, but it's all about maintaining that better side. And Boston find all the kills. Now they're able to soak some time.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say for Breach too, man. Like, you can kind of tell, like, they're just solely focused and trying to make sure they've got those spawns. They're very carefully trickling their way back into P1, maybe just respecting the unbelievable start that London had to this hard point. As Nero goes low, Breach just continued to maintain wonderful positioning on the map. Only player they're gonna have to worry about, though, is Asim. He sneaks through with dead silence, and from there, he very well could cause a bit of havoc toward the back lines. 3 players in his sights. Nero goes for the snap, not able to find that. Is it all 3? You bet it is. 3 there for Asim, and we'll see what he can do off of it. Boston having to try to be very careful of quite a few players that have made it behind enemy lines. A big spot for them, as we'll step aside and go to a listening with the Boston Breach.
Open and deep back. I'm only bottom mark. Last one deep back. Okay. Front. Nice. Look open.
Is he right corner?
Yeah.
Nice.
Open it. Horse.
Close.
Open left side.
I got streak.
Double two single.
Yep, single, I'm pretty sure.
I'm looking in. No, Thomas dead.
Go. Dumb.
Yeah,
Single done.
Nice. He's on me, guys. On me. Maps. He's me, the horse.
Maps box. Dead.
Gate, nothing old.
I'm looking gate.
I need maps.
I can come in here, but I can.
Me.
I got gate.
I'm on you.
Hold it.
I got maps.
Nice. Stay lock.
I'm pitching doubles. The world open.
All good. They couldn't hurt me. I'm sure.
Okay.
No, one spot, guys.
Okay. Help.
Crossing one shot.
I got maps. Dead.
Front, no one front.
Yeah, front on me. Yeah, enter.
I got true.
Nice.
Yeah, so aggressive.
Bottom right P1.
I can streak this.
Yeah, I'm across.
I'm streaking. I spawn those maps. One can spawn mine, you guys.
Nothing cross.
Top map's sucking. He's going out.
Top maps, and he's back found.
Top
Like,
dead. All game set. I saw you guys.
I got him. Nice, close front.
I'm trying to get this side.
Oh, no, two.
Top gold.
It's 3-0.
Another one. Is anyone out?
I spawned maps. Yeah,
They get this one. I spawn bottom art. They get one.
Well, how about that check-in with the Boston Breach? One word that comes to mind for me, Jay, is energy. Crimp, the newcomer, talking about trying to be the IGL and search destroy. He is definitely bringing the hype right now to the team. They know that they are not just on the verge of a comeback, but now they find themselves in the lead. A complete turnaround here from the Breach boys.
Yeah, Boston, they turned it up to a whole different level in the second half of these rotations. Good time off of that P2. You win the rotation over towards P3. You get a majority of the time there to now take the lead in this game 4 now until London are going to take it right back. It's all about this P4. Trey's going back and forth. Beans and Kremp, they combine for 2, but Nasty's able to take down another. Now it's on a 2v2, but you see both the London players, they're going to spawn all the way across the map, so you have to try to go big. Awakening cuts them down. Boston Breach, find another one.
20 seconds still to 5-4 over at Cannons. They also have to think about that rotation, but you are definitely focused on this time right now. If you're either side, London wanted to make sure that this lead has not come to a complete collapse, at least maintain a bit of something. On the other side for Breach, they smell blood in the water. As we heard from those comms, everybody feeling that much better about themselves. Kremp, a much better performance. You see him now at 25 and 26. Goes for a moment even before he hits the deck. Beans now positive. Awakening, the same thing can be said. And Nero, he's had a wonderful time inside of that objective, trying to pick up maybe from where Vivid has left off. To P5 we go, when it is the definition of a neck-and-neck game, Jay.
Yeah, it's scrappy, but at least London come out on top in the engagements, and we're able to flip those spawns. Now Boston spawning towards the back of Anvil, towards back statue. Have to try to fight off their base. It's all about starting to maintain this map control as Kremp finds one, but the trade is going to instantly be there from Asim. Already 30 and 23. This is usually his field day map where he just loves to take over the game. The first 4 times that he played some Fortress Hardpoint Lando, he was a 1.27. The last 5 times he's played it, 0.8. So he's just trying to turn it right back around. He's trying to get back to that 1.3 mode, and so far he's not. He's answering the call.
I was gonna say it looks very good to possibly maybe even look that much better now, maybe in the next few hard points. It's been an interesting stretch for him, as you said, Jay, but right now positive 10, maybe in threat of having a cruise missile again potentially. The Chow able to win that one. Confident as seen. Back to P1 we go, and now it appears that the Ravens have woke up once more. Scraps on a bit of a spree, now makes it 4 in a row. Natty Marshall also beginning to heat on up. The desk was challenging him. 0.5 and 0.6 is what his KDs have been so far throughout these opening matches. And right now, he's trying to put the Ravens on his back. London in full control right now of P1, and Boston, they've got to make a move, whether through the backside of the spawns or into P1. Number 3, Big Wake, the player to look out for. Ravens, they sniff him out.
They're all just getting cut down. London do a great job of just reading the spawns that potential players can get. You're taking down the guy that's going to try to flip those spawns on the opposing team. You do that, and you're able to maintain the better side of the map. Basically, another full 60 hold at this P1 is now going to put them 25 points away from taking map number 1. Can they do it? Can they hold on for this final push? Boston, they're getting into close spawns. That's 3 dead. Last play on the point is going to be Nasty. He has to try to go big. He at least takes down 1, but Boston, they find the break.
Yuli still back here. Yuli could definitely cause a bit of chaos. However, player 4 right on and tries to go for the snap. Nero, sigh of relief or reload of the gun. As Breach realized now, these 30 seconds definitely look to be in their favor. London, a big spot. Maybe attempt to go for the attack, or maybe you just back up, park the bus, and allow for that rotation over at the fountain. It appears it will be the Ravens stalling things out, allowing for the final 15 to go the way of Breach, and relying on what has typically been and historically been, Jay, a great rotation for the team that starts it off. We'll see if Breach can once more make the brigade, make the rush into this objective, because they're going to have to do it quick.
It's all about going, man. It's all about going. You have one player in Yuli who's trying to watch the cross, but unfortunately gets some bad timing. So a couple Boston players already put themselves in a great position. Spam your attacks towards the front, blow up these trophies, and let's try to get this guy off point, because it's only 9 seconds until London take map 1.
Oh, and Asim, they recognized that he was out of the play, but he actually taking down 1, taking down 2, taking down everybody. The Breach fall by the wayside. And how about that from London? Scraps and Asim getting up. It was an 8-map losing spree. It was all out dominance on the other side of the stage lately for Ravens, but they have come out hot here in Bounty Week, Jay. They're hungry for that 10K, and they start off this series the best way possible, 1-0, and a 250 to 216 scoreline is what we've got.
That's a nice little chunk of money to come out here in this bounty match, take that map number 1 versus Boston, and finally let go of that map losing streak and coming out and making a statement in this map number 1. Like, look at Scraps, 35 and 25. He wasn't doing this all last week. Guy put up 4K damage alongside Asim, 39 and 30. Both those guys just took over for London every time a play needed to be made. Where the spawns were going to be flipped, Asim put himself in a great position. Scraps is always there to win his one-on-one gunfights and get away with his life. That's exactly how you want to start out the series if you are London. Not having the best week 1, but taking down Boston Breach on this map number 1 is now going to do wonders for this team. Tons of momentum on their side. This is usually a hard point that they like to play, but the difference in this game was that P1 hard point where they just took over full 60 holds back-to-back rounds. Whenever they found themselves just getting the game a little scrappy, they did a great job of just maintaining the better side of the map, setting up for the future, and eventually closing out this game. What a map number 1 from London. Boston Breach, just a little bit of a slow start.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it really comes down to that, right? If you saw the scoreline at the start of this game, it was London who were up massive. Breach did a valiant effort to at one point tie the game. They took the lead for a short moment, and really from there, London, they just played their cards right, knowing the lead that they had already built up previously. They start to get going again, and then P1, right? It ends up going their way from there. They just make sure they've got the rotation over towards Statue, and that's where this game comes to a close. Impressive work from Ravens and Jay. I mean, what, last week we were talking about how London could not wake up in the hard points. Back-to-back, pretty much 100-point clubs. The last time they played Fortress was versus Optic in their last series. They put up 68 points, and that was it. So you could definitely tell from all sides. Ravens, very, very excited to see that game 1 go their way. And for Boston, well, I think they start to feel a bit panicked. LSCLO Search and Destroy up next. Should be a fun one.
Yeah, LSCLO Search and Destroy is definitely going to be a fun one. Obviously, on the side of Boston, they've recently played this map. They were able to clutch up all the way into round number 10, and Beans, for some reason on this map, he just simply takes over. He always puts himself in so many different scenarios, so many different positionings, the way he's watching so many different angles, and he just does it so well that he's a guy that you have to put a lot of focus on. I know they have an overall record of 4-4, but ever since Bean has entered the roster, they're sitting at a 2-1 record, with him having a 1.75 KD. So Beans is a guy that you have to make sure you're equalizing or at least trying to shut down.
Yeah, without a doubt. Right now, I think sports the number 6 Search and Destroy KD this season in Mr. Beans. Wonderful work coming in from the rookie. And I guess it's interesting, right? Because we're talking about Search and Destroy. Obviously, Boston now down 0-1. One of the biggest talking points it felt like that Schiff was bringing up, I think the desk was touching on it, is that Crimp is coming into this team, as we know, also as a rookie. Yeah. But he might be looked upon to possibly be the IGL of the roster. How do you feel about a rookie maybe leading the comms for what is still a relatively younger squad? But how do you feel about him possibly holding that title now?
I'm excited to see what he's able to do with it, because obviously Boston Breach, they've been great in Search and Destroy even before making that roster change, but to put him in the lineup. So now with him being that IGL, him also being an aggressive SMG player, him also having a 1.24 in KD in challenges in Search and Destroy, he's going to bring a lot of different things to the table. Probably a different couple of strategies, things that he took from his old team that he's able to bring to his new squad that worked really well, just so he can get more comfortable. So that's the biggest thing, because like this guy's only been on the roster for less than a week. So like with him being the in-game leader, he will be able to call calls that makes him a lot comfortable, makes him more comfortable to allow his teammates to do exactly what they do best. And I think the biggest thing that you want to change if you are Boston is that first blood percentage. They are dead last in this map, but at least they make up for it in the 3v4 situations. 37% win rate in that scenario.
Yeah, it's just interesting, right? Because it's like, we always talk about, I don't know, maybe just role-wise, historically, it just feels like veterans, are normally in-game leaders. I know that it's changed, over the past few seasons, whether it's been like Kismet for the New York Subliners back in Vanguard. I know, a big conversation was Two Real's impact on Vegas Legion. It's just an interesting convo. I hope that Kremp has maybe got that playbook out for the Boston Breach, try to know their tendencies, know the things that they like to do, and so help be involved in that first engagement. He and Nero there to tag up the first. Scraps at least able to answer back. In the meantime, it is Breach, you have found numbers, but only for a moment. Kremp puts his first kill up on the board, and it's a huge one. Now leads us into the 1v3.
1v3 all left up to Nasty. He knows that Beans likes to play his way over towards top radio. He's able to spot him, hits down a couple shots, but not able to close out the kill. It's that stun connecting. His teammates are going to stop the pounce on him, but a beautiful frag comes in. Makes it more manageable. 1v2 now.
It's still a lot of time on the clock. 40 seconds still to go. And now for Nasty, the pursuit of an early round clutch. What that would do to the confidence of the Ravens is maybe even incomprehensible. Awakening just toward the outside. Dead Silence is rocked. 63 HP and a dream. Nasty tries to escape. A bit of frustration there toward the end, but nearly played his cards right. Boston stay alive. They hold off the 1v3 attempt, and it's Kremp putting in the final kill. Round one goes to Boston.
And right there, you could just see London. They were expecting no players from Boston Breach to be inside that A-bomb. They were correct, but they weren't correct about the aggression that Boston were still going to be able to put on without having trophy systems. As Nero pushes his way into Courtyard, he gets the first blood, and then all-out pressure through Keg Alley to find the final two. He put Nasty into 1v3, doesn't have Dead Silence to work with yet, and eventually he does get cut down, but Boston Breach able to clutch up on their first defense, and with also getting first blood.
Under round two we go. You already hear the ring of that Dead Silence coming through from Kremp. He tags in a Nasty, tosses an 8, says a prayer. He punches the door open, and finding off it is Yuli, who exists on the other side of it. So it is Ravens here with the first blood this time. And with that, we'll see as Nero begins to move forward with that bomb in hand, what he can attempt to do. Spots the shadow, I believe, there of Yuli. Needs to close that door if he attempts to get that bomb down. Yes, indeedy. Plan about to be in, and now it's up to the Ravens retake. And do have numbers. We'll see if they can utilize those properly.
So now to 3v4. They know the pressure's coming in from Courtyard. Great communication on the side of Boston Breach to at least take down both of those players, and already now put themselves in a 3v2 situation. All the way up to Nasty and Asim. They're trying to hit that flank through top mid.
Asim. See if he can find the timing. Spots Awakening hanging out over at the bar, realizing the time is absolutely of the essence. On the verge of the kill, able to drop it. 2 more to go. 15 seconds on the clock. Some movement has to be made. Nero on the bomb site, able to clear away Nasty, and he'll do the work for both. Breach able to clear it once more. London with the first blood, but Boston remains stable, getting that objective down and allow for Ravens to come to them. 2-0 now for Breach.
Yeah, that was a 3v4 right there from Boston. Great job from Nero to instantly get that bomb down, and then I'm pretty sure Beans is the player from Top Money, gets that info that the pressure is coming in through Courtyard. Nero, once he gets that bomb planted, instantly pushes out through bottom checkers, finds that kill, and eventually take care of the second, put them in the man advantage. And then Nero shuts it all down by getting the sound cues in towards that A-bomb to find the final 2 kills on the round. 3v4 round right there. London, you can't give that one up. You got to at least put a lot more pressure on the map when you get that first blood.
Oh, we're right into round 3, by the way. Sniper is out and in the hands of Beans. Take a look through the crosshairs. One jumps through, goes for the chow. Nearly had 2 lined up. Some great work coming in from Beans. However, the snipes not landing. And in the meantime, for Ravens, that bomb is getting planted. So it is down. And we'll see what Breach can do. Still looking for a pick as Beans. Get ready to have a player challenge him from the right. Climbs up the ladder and manages to escape. Meanwhile, on the outside, Kremp ends up falling. Beans, pistol in hand. He drops too. And you just wonder if that sniper could have at least rained through with one bullet, with one kill. How different this one could be. But a 1v3 for Big Wake. Not looking good to clutch it out, Jay.
Oh, it's only 15 seconds left. Let's just play our lives. Let's not give up the stats. We're not going to be able to clutch this round. Awakening, he does have that dead silence, but this round is going to be all London. Great pressure from London. Bottom pull. You know that they weren't going to be stacked in towards the site once again. You get the play call that the aggression is coming in from courtyard. You're able to get that bomb down instantly. Hold down the first push. Find that first blood. Eventually win the trade battle to leave Awakening alive in the final moments. London finally get one on the board. Beautiful attacking round there.
I'm curious, Jay, like for Ravens, right? The outlook on the season right now is, you know, they're not obviously in the greatest position when it comes down to the standings. We talked about top 8 is what you got to get for champs. Like, what do you really feel like needs to be the focus of the Ravens right now at this point in the season? Is it search destroy or is it something else?
It's everything. It's literally everything. You only have 50 points. You have the ability to get 210 points if you win every single match, including both majors. So it's all about just perfecting your gameplay in every single mode. They did it in that map number 1. So far in the search and destroy, they find another first blood. Great item play right there from Nasty. Take down Awakening. Yuli snaps for the second. Now at least they put some in the man advantage. They get cut down. London, 2 rounds in a row now. Boston, what's going on? Because London, they're coming out to play today.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I talk about it too, man, because I don't know. I just feel like I look down the London lineup and it just feels like players who should be good at search destroy, and you know, they've had at times throughout this season their strengths when it comes to hardpoint. I know control obviously has not really been there all year for them, but I don't know, like so often we talk about teams that are, you know, in the bottom 4 or maybe just in the need of trying to make a climb up the standings. As you said, it could not be more dire right now than it is for the Ravens, but search destroy, it could be their success. It could be their point to maybe make a bit of noise here in Major 4. Better late than never, but as we said, it really is going to be a journey up the mountain for them. The expedition, I guess you could say, begins right here, right now. Up 1-0 and trying to make it 3-2 here in this game. Asim spotting really the barrel of the gun there on Kremp. He takes him down for the start. So it is wonderful work coming in from Asim once more, trying to lead the charge. As Ravens will actually halt the push. Nero's got to be careful with his life. He drops here, and that very well could decide the round.
Yeah, but he's got dead silence now, so you got to be ready for this push that could potentially come in as he's able to hit that flank. It's towards bottom pull. He saps on the first, able to take down the second, and at least makes it a 2v2 now with Nasty picking up Beans. But Nero, he's not stopping. Dead silence is still here. He finds his third on the round. He gets the sound cues. The last player's behind him. Awakening here for the pinch.
Give it to Nero. Give it to Nero. No, God, he nearly threw it away, but it's the ace covered in from Nero. Never a doubt. I may have hesitated for a moment, but he rocks that dead silence, and you can see the smile on his face. Goes for the melee, just the fastest of reactions, but thankfully does not throw it away, Jay. There's the highlight for him. A lovely little 4 there.
That's good work from Nero because he was the only player on that side of the map. Even with his teammates getting first blood, another 3v4 situation where Boston Breach were able to clutch up all on the back of Nero. With his dead silence play towards bottom pull, cuts down 2, wins the 3rd gunfight, and then gets a sound cue for the last to earn himself that ace. So now he's sitting at 9-3 on a 4 streak. Can potentially earn himself that cruise missile. But this is a big round right here. London, they're going to be sending multiple players on the flank, and Nero might have just read this perfectly.
Possibly. Player 8, player 5. It could be Nero either hearing them or just running into the bomb site to try to get away. Regardless of it, his life is also going to be taken. And with that, the early flank coming in from London, the crafty plays now has elevated them to a 4 versus 2. The dead silence eventually does run out for Asim, but it's no problem because they can pretty much remain stationary and allow for Breach to come to them. In the process of that going down, it is really Scraps who gets cut out in the middle of nowhere. So numbers a bit more manageable for Breach, but they still got to get that bomb up in their hands and planted. 30 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, London is just holding the opposite side of the base. They're allowing this bomb plant to go down. Gonna try to retake it with the man advantage. Now time is starting to tick. You get a couple stun hit markers. Now you get the information of where Boston are going to put pressure from. Only 15 seconds left. Someone has to commit towards that bomb plant.
They might rely on Awakening to try to make a play. He's able to do that. However, in the meantime, he does lose his squad mate. And from there, London, while they do lose 2 members in the process, they eventually utilize those numbers to clutch out the round. A nice answer there. And it is Yuli coming away with the final kill. Big one. They're on to a flying Awakening. I would never want to see that in game, Jay. That's for sure.
Yeah, he definitely gunning you out of your socks from that positioning. But in that case, London, they just had a great play call right there. You get 2 players to invest that dead silence. Pretty sure it was Yuli and Asum on that flank. They saw Nero do it in the previous round. He got 4. This time we're going to send 2 players on that side of the map. And they open up with the first 2 kills on the round. London are able to tie it up at 3. Back on the attack we go. It's been all out pressure in towards this A-bomb. Boston this time around, though, they're going to switch it on up. You have Nero's playing courtyard doors, and Kremp, who's being super aggressive up through Keg Alley.
Definitely land out a few shots. Does get stunned out, and that dead silence will come to a halt. So he will try to make his way on his belly, knowing the Nasty could be over at top white. As we said, some shots exchanged early, so definitely a bit of info toward either side, and there is all the info that you need. Scraps found. Kremp, nearly makes his second one. Thankfully, his teammate Nero is able to do all the work that he has to. The SMG duo coming in strong. Beans able to wipe away his second kill of the game. And from there, it is Asim now left in the 1 versus 3. And he's got quite a bit of real estate, Jay. He can really hang out on the bottom side of the map for as long as he'd want.
Not as long as you want, because with only 30 seconds left, you got to get this bomb down eventually, right? Deciding to push his way all the way through the spawn. Gonna wrap his way all the way towards back B, get some info onto Awakening, but Awakening, he's able to get out with his life. Now all of his teammates turn around. They are ready for the gunfight. Even if it's across the map, Beans is able to win it with the AR. Boston Breach, great response. Great crossfire setup from Kremp and Asum. Once Kremp finds that first one, even though he does get traded, Nero's in a perfect position to find that second kill. And then while Nero's putting all that pressure in towards bottom pool, Beans with that flank through radio tower finds that third kill, makes it a 1v3, and then ends the round with the final. Boston Breach now up 4-3.
The reason why I said this team can just kind of hang on that side of the map is because I don't know if I really want to visit the other side. I don't know if I want to see 3 members of Breach staring down the barrel at you. Regardless of it, team has to make the play, eventually drop.
Oh, let me in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not allowed inside of the pool hall. I don't know what that's about. It's 10-4. I would definitely let him try to make some plays, and very much so. Right on cue. Door once more slammed in his face. A grenade at his feet. 50 HP. Stunned up. Tagged up. And just manages to get out of the line of sight from his feet. But no! Ends up dropping 2. Nasty, meanwhile, walks right past Awakening. The nice snap coming in from Big Wake now leads us into a 2v3. The ARs still remain for Breach.
And right now, Yuli and Asum do have dead silence invested, so they can run around a little bit, but Asum is actually going to run out. And now it's time for Awakening to invest in his. Bomb is still going to be down towards bottom pool hall. You open up this back door, you get some information onto 1. You go for the snap, and you're able to win it. 2v2 now.
Nobody from London goes for the chow. Remain stationary. In the meantime, Awakening. More hunting to do. Are you serious? Now it's found 2. Does he have the 3rd? He knows exactly where
man.
He's hiding. Come here, says Big Wake. Finding the final 3. Incredible work there from Breach in a round that had no right to go their way.
Yeah, these guys are just not good in the 4v4 situations. But if you give them a 3v4, even a 2v4, they stand a better chance. As Awakening just reads the play beautifully, reads the setup on how London we're going to play around that bomb, checks every single corner, and find all the kills in towards the bottom of the pool hall. What a round right there by Big Wake to now put his team at game point.
That is very, very impressive, Jay. Looked like he just knew where everybody was.
Yeah.
Looked like he was like, okay, I'm gonna check this corner. All right, now he's gonna be over here, etc., so on and so forth. Into this round we go, and it is Nero quickly getting scraps out of the fight, and Kremp, well, he's happy to go on the flank. He's got that dead silence, feeling confident to go through Keg Alley, and from there, Nasty dropped as well. An instant. Before Kremp goes low, Yuli at least able to drop him, but 3 more members to take down a bomb that still has to get planted just to keep this game alive. Rookie not bringing out the white flag just yet, but that decision very well might be made for him very soon. 40 seconds on the clock. Gun 0, 2 more to go. And thankfully he does have dead silence, that field upgrade at his side.
Now it's all on Yuli. 1v2 scenario. He knows at least the positioning of one player, but he's just going to get this bomb down. Dead silence is now going to run out. Beans and Awakening, the ARs for Boston. Ready to try to set up this pitch. Awakening reads it beautifully, but Yuli with the snap. Unbelievable. Only 6 HP left, and Beans hops the bomb. Beans hops it.
You've got to be kidding. You've got to be joking. You've got to be kidding me. Beans just hops right onto the fuse and denies what would have been a sensational 1v4 from Yuli. He gets the smile and the fist bump from the team. Mind games covered in from Beans. And honestly, Jay, like, that is just wonderful work. They're coming in from Beans in that moment, right? Just knowing that he's going to be on a heater, a little bit low, and health. The last thing that he's going to be expecting in a situation like that is for someone to already be punching in the digits onto the fuse. Incredible work there from Yuli late, but it's Breach who walks away with the game. And now we've got ourselves a series.
Yeah, it was such a back and forth S&E to start this one off. It got to about 3-3, but then Boston Breach able to chain 3 rounds together. 3v4 clutch, 2v4 clutch, and then preventing a 1v4 clutch in this final round to close it out 6-3. I love the teamwork already that we saw from Nero and Kremp. Like, one player is putting on pressure from Keg's side, and then Nero's putting on pressure from Courtyard. So it's either one of these guys are fighting for that first blood. You see, Kremp only has 1, Nero had 2, but they always put themselves in a situation to find a trade whenever it was necessary. That was just good work from Boston Breach, making sure that they played their advantages to the best of their ability and clutching up tremendously in this search and destroy to now tie it up at 1.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like you said, I don't know what it is about Boston. They just don't really like getting the first blood. It's it's an odd strat, but it does work out for them successfully here on LOCLO Search and Destroy. I got to say, highlight round for me, Jay, was not just the near 1v4 they're coming in from Yuli, but also that insane retake of Pool there from Big Wake. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff indeed.
All right, if after this match
been able to see quite a few highlights so far
there's not really any viewers, I'm just gonna end the stream because Call of Duty kind of killed the fun by switching over to YouTube as well.
Everybody, I am Lando, and today I am joined by Boston's finest, Beans from the Boston Breach. Buddy, how you doing today?
I'm good, you know, just working every day, getting better, all that.
Well, you just finished up your first major with the squad. You get a top 4 placement. It's also your first time on the main stage. For you and for the team, what were some of your biggest takeaways, you'd say, from the Texas major?
Probably just getting comfortable on the main stage together. Obviously, for me, it was my first time on the actual main stage, so it's a way different atmosphere to anything I'm used to. And so sometimes you tend to play situations differently. You're like, it's not really nerves, but it's just different. So when you get put in a different situation, you play differently.
It feels like you've kind of been in a situation where you've had to adapt quick, really throughout your entire life. Like, I watched a few interviews that you've done. You've traveled around the world growing up. Many don't even know that you actually lived in Dubai for a while. How has like that lifestyle impacted both who you are in game and out of game in the situation that, like we said, you've been in for the last month?
I think it's like I can like adapt to new people very quickly. So I can like make friendships and relationships really quick. So obviously moving countries, moving continents at such a young age really helped with that when I was like 12 or 13. And throughout that time I was obviously still playing COD, so I was meeting loads of new friends and stuff. And through that, went to a couple of LAN events out in Dubai. And then going to the main team, it's just new faces, completely never spoke to before, and just getting to know them quick and creating that bond as quick as you can. The more comfortable you can get, the quicker it's easy, because then and you can pick apart plays and stuff, because when it's early doors, sometimes you're like hesitant to say stuff, or you can't really get comfortable with the team. So the faster you can do that, obviously the better.
Well, I will say, Beans, I feel like you've had a great impact so far on this team already. You helped get this team their first Game 5 victory of the season. You helped give Breach their first franchise win over the LA Thieves. You helped deliver Breach their second ever finish above a top 4 or at a top 4. But I'm sure for you, right, the goal is something that is much greater than this. If you could pinpoint one thing that the squad needs to do in order to deliver the Boston Breach their first championship in franchise history, what do you feel like that is?
The main thing is good habits. So like, practice what you play. Don't, it is fun sometimes to have some fun times in scrims and do some random stuff, but getting in good habits all the time is probably the main thing. We made some mistakes at Major 3 that we never would make in practice, but that's just the way it is. That's just, sometimes the moment can get to you. There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of external factors, you just won't make the right play all the time. That's just the way it is sometimes.
One of my favorite parts about your addition to the other 3 Beans is the passion that you provide. It feels like you were always one to get up, get loud, yell across the stage. Where does that fire as a competitor stem from?
I create these like mental battles in my head with every team I play against, as if they're the ultimate enemy. Right. I don't know. This comes within. It's nothing like you plan on doing really. It just happens. It's a little bit different from the main stage, because in the pit in challenges there was actually a bit of a mental game to it. Like roaring, shouting at people. To some people would actually get in their heads. Whereas on the main stage they can't hear you. You can't hear a thing, obviously with the soundproof headphones. So it's not really the same. But it's for the team. It's just passion. It's even when you're losing, you don't stop that passion. You keep going.
Anything you want to say to the CDL, maybe to the Boston Breach fans out there?
Thank you for all the support. Obviously at the major, even at Major 2 when I wasn't in the main team yet, it was really good seeing all the fans. Major 3 it was really good. Taking pictures of everyone, it was awesome. I really appreciate it, and keep supporting. We'll be here all year.
I'll tell you what, Beans, you've earned a fan here. I got my Breach mask. I'm excited for you guys. Good. Excited for you, man, for the rest of the year. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
The Call of Duty League is presented by the GMC Hummer EV Pickup, the world's first all-electric super truck. Upgrade your game with the Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by the new series Citadel, premiering on April 28, only on Prime Video.
How's it going, friends, and welcome back to the Call of Duty League. I gotta say, that guy who just did the interview in the player profile, wonderful job, by the way. Regardless, though, Jay, in all seriousness, Beans, was a blast talking with him, trying to get a little bit more of an insight on Boston Breach moving here into the Major 4 qualifiers. And I gotta say, man, he's got a great head on his shoulders. It feels like for this Breach team, they've done such a wonderful job at just trying to grab and trying to utilize that Boston Breach Academy team to the best of their ability. Obviously, like we said, they've got Beans, now they've got Kremp. So far, after 2 maps, what would you give Kremp a grade? Where would that be at as we fly in for hotel control now?
I think I'll give him a B+. He's doing great work in the search and destroy. The first hard point lacked a couple in those rotation gunfights, but overall, he's having himself a nice little series. You heard that interview with Beans. I think the biggest thing I took away was like public enemy #1. That's who London is right now in his head. And going up against them on their best control map, even though they have a record of 3-9, this is where they usually find themselves some success.
And it's interesting because speaking of this map in general, right, this is a relatively new one, I think you said, for the Boston Breach.
Yeah.
Right? Like a hotel control. Feels like this is one that we see all the time, but I guess for Breach, it's not really been that so far throughout this season.
Yeah, they haven't played it in 3 months. Last time they played it was January 15th, and that's even before Beans entered the roster. So obviously, when you make that roster change, you add the addition of Kremp to your lineup. You're thinking that the slaying is definitely going to be there. He probably has a little bit better of a game plan, how you want to play this map. That's why they decided to put this one in the series, trying to expand that map pool going into the later half of this year, as they're putting a lot of pressure on towards mid. First segment already done at A, but London, they have mid-map control. They can still fight for to get them off at this point.
You can tell, like, right, having just one player on it, it does allow for that time to pause, but you're not really gaining a whole lot from it. Little by little, that segment begins to fly on forward. From there, Seam able to tag up a few members and really Breach. They don't get the information that they wanted, but they do at least now have quite a bit of time now at their side. Full capture through. Big gunfight one from Crimp, and now that will leave Breach to make their way through the backside of the spawn. Quite a bit of time still to work with, and a big gunfight here for Awakening. He's able to take that. So Breach beginning to formulate a push.
Yeah, they're beginning to formulate a push. Both of those teammates die, wrapping back towards bedroom. So now Beans and Awakening trying to find a couple spawners. Relieve some of that pressure, or at least try to set up this pinch. They're able to catch Julie off spawn. They know that Scraps is still back here. Beans finds two, even with the SMG, but at least you get all the information. Those players are cleared out. Last two players in towards bed as they do not find a single kill. London holds strong.
Yeah, London take down all four, and also if you're the Ravens, you know exactly where they are spawning. Over toward the kitchen and now into the diner. Scraps ironed up and ready to go for one, nearly for two. Good work there for Nero to snap onto one, but at the same time for Ravens, like I said, I mean, they clear out a few players. They are really making Breach have to work for every bit of map positioning. And really, a few players make their way in from middle, trying to cut across into that B zone, not going to be there. And so the only man that's made it past enemy lines once more is Awakening. We'll see if he can make good on this opportunity now. 30 seconds on the clock. Somebody's got to make a move on. This kill is huge. Awakening drops it again. It's now all of Breach coming in from the front, and now Nero, who's trying to make a play on the flank.
And now this is going to be their last push. Every single time they've tried to overextend through Shandy, tried to set up this pinch. But the players from London are changing their positionings around, staying alive in the crucial moments, and just playing the trades efficient. Because now with only 7 seconds left, Boston do have some map control. They can stop the clock. All someone has to do is get on the point, but with London maintaining mid-side, they're able to cut them all down with beautiful crossfires and hold strong on that defensive setup around B. London take round one.
I just feel like Royal Ravens were, like I said, man, all out confident. Well, Ely's got to be careful not to shoot his teammate in the butt. That would be testament in lesson number 1, but still finds a few kills toward the end. But yeah, I just feel like for Ravens, like they just pretty much stacked themselves up inside of the bedroom, allowed for those flanks to come through. Awakening 2 big opportunities to try to make something happen behind enemy lines. He gets thwarted in both of those situations, and really the rest of Breach not able to do much.